Murphy Austin Adams Schoenfeld LLP, focusing on business law and commercial litigation, is proud to support Rob on the Road, Region Rising. More information available at murphyaustin.com.
And now, Rob on the Road, exploring Northern California.
If you change and go from channel to channel, you will see that there is a desperate need in this country for positive stories on television, stories of hope and that encourage others. My guest today does that with every fiber of his being. His name is Sami Kader. He's a friend, and I would love for you to meet him right now. Sami, it is great to see you again here on this time, Rob at Home. Good to see you.
Great to see you too.
We met about 5 years ago when you were profiled as a hero in Helping Hand for your work with children across California in the classrooms. And with 2020 being the way that it unfolded, you had to dramatically change what you do.
I'm still reaching kids. I'm still doing everything I can to bring that positive message. And this time just in a different way.
So you're virtual now. So it's Sami's Circuit Virtual. First of all, what exactly is Sami's Circuit?
Sami's Circuit is how I packaged up my story, my mission to reach kids, and bringing those positive words with movement, giving kids positive words, but also in a way that isn't just telling them, it's showing them and creating an experience that they'll never forget. And, that's what I did for the last 8 years. Now, my new program, Sami's Circuit On Demand, it's a digital program. It's weekly episodes that the teachers receive. And it's just, you could say it's a social, emotional, parent involvement type of program, but really it's just me bringing hope and positivity to as many kids as I can.
I want to show a clip really quickly of what you're offering right now, because I think it's so important to show how you changed your plan to still inspire. Take a look.
A lot of kids right now are going through a tough time. Adults, everybody. But no matter what tough times that come our way, you need to hear me on this. Those tough times, they make us stronger. Those tough times will make us who we are. And we never give up. I've said those words a million times, never give up, never give up. But listen to this, because it doesn't matter what comes our way. Whatever tough times that we have in the future, because there will be more, I promise you that. That's part of life. Whatever tough times we have, I never want you to lose hope. Tell somebody in your family, you got this. Yes, we're warming up right now. So we're pumping up. We're going to pump our arms. We're going to bring our knees up. We're jogging in place. I'm imagining right now that every time I come up to the top, your opposite hand is ready for a side five. Push up, side five. Push up, side five. Listen to my 3 favorite words.
Got this.
Begin.
Yeah, come on. Bam. Imaginary jump rope. Grab anything you want. Matter of fact, you don't even need to grab anything. Imaginary jump rope.
Are you getting good feedback? Are you hearing the stories from children and teachers?
Oh, absolutely. Great. Absolutely. I mean, so many teachers are telling me how amazed, how much this has helped them, how much it's helping their kids. And a lot of them are just saying thank you, not that I expect that, but just thank you during this time. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for continuing to find a way to reach our kids no matter what.
I'd like to talk to you about your personal story in childhood, and that is of an experience that unfortunately many have gone through, and that is being bullied.
Yeah, well, like I was humiliated every day growing up in elementary school, junior high school, and into high school. But the worst part of it was that I was believing those words to be true. I started believing every word that I heard. And, I tell kids all the time, the bully's not the bad one. The bully's just somebody who's going through pain. They don't know what to do with it. So they give it to him or her. And, when it came to me, I kept that pain. I believed it to be true. And, as I grew up, I always tell kids, I started staring at the ground more and more, just not believing in myself,
How did you break that? Were you able to find a way to stop it, to stop the bullying? And do you have any advice to kids who are being bullied?
Yeah, the bullying stopped when I started picking my head up, believing in myself. And it was somebody who came into my life that helped me to do that. They got me off the couch. I was sitting on the couch every day, depressed, sad, 15-year-old, over 300 pounds. But he got me off the couch. Every day we started exercising together. But more than that, he was just giving me this positive voice. Keep going, Sami. I believe in you. You can do it. Never give up. Those words on repeat every day, combined with a physical action that brought accomplishment. Accomplishment's one of the greatest feelings in the world. And when I started feeling that, I started picking my head up. I started walking around with a little bit more confidence. And when kids saw that in me, it just changed. It's like, before you expect somebody to treat you well, you have to do that for yourself. And so when I started treating myself better, feeling happier, loving myself more, other people started feeling the same way. After I lost the weight, my senior year,
how'd you lose it?
So a year together with Ronnie, the figure who came into my life. He got me off the couch. He gave me those good words every day. We exercised, and
1 year.
Yeah, 1 year. 1 year later, I lost 100 pounds. And, even now with kids, I don't even mention the weight anymore, because I've really learned so much that wasn't the deal. Because even after I lost the weight, I still had this negative voice, the negative self-talk. You don't love yourself before the weight comes off. Nothing's going to change, afterwards. And so it was a journey really from 18 to 30 years old to find a way to love who I am, to find the good, to see the good, to erase those negative words. And, I've surrounded myself with a lot of positive people, a lot of people that kind of saw great things in me. And, it wasn't a fast process, but getting to a place where I could see those good things in myself. And that gave me the ability to start really spreading my message to kids. I had tried so many times. It's not like this is something I just wanted to do in my 30s. From 18 years old on, I always wanted to share my story with kids, but every time I tried, I failed. I quit. I didn't believe in myself. I couldn't do it. The negative words, the negative voice in my head. And so it took me a long time to finally get to that place where I knew I was ready to share my message, to make a difference. And, it started with that self-love, with me finding a good place, just finding a good thing in who I was.
What is a secret to finding self-love for you?
Man, that's a hard one. It's different for everybody, but for me, I think it was believing the people around you that see good things in you. I can tell you for a fact that people repeated for years things about me, like good things to me. And for years, the first thing I would say was, "Oh, no, you are." Somebody say, "Oh, you look so handsome." "No, you do." I was a mirror, right? I would reflect every good comment that came to me because I didn't feel like I deserved any of that. Mm-hmm. And when you don't feel like you deserve anything, you can't accept a gift. You can't accept anything. And so there's no way to grow. So I got to a place where I started listening to what people were saying. I started letting people speak into me and actually accepting those good words. And so it's just been, for me, I always feel like I came from such a broken place. It's been like a slow process. I see other people succeed so quick. And I felt like it's been a long journey, but it doesn't matter how long it takes, you just keep moving forward every day. So for me, it's just been believing those good words, believing the people who believe in you.
I love that. And I think it's really a good thing to talk about our wounds and then share them from a place of strength, right? I try not to blast my wounds from a place of wounded. I try to share it from a place of strength where I can reflect and see where I've grown. And for you, I've seen you do that. You would walk into these schools, and to these students, Sami, you were the real life Superman. I have seen it. I've been in a school when you walk in, and now it's happening virtually. And the kids who are all scattered about and isolated have all been brought together in one big room at the school. And you walk in and they go nuts. and you are so filled with energy. There's lights beaming all over the place. There's music, and it's exercise, but it's really exercising the heart, because you see kids, and I know this for a fact because a teacher told me that there were these two kids, and she said they always bullied, and they stopped because of you. They stopped because they saw the good in everybody. There's something about your gift that is an equalizer, let me say this, not an equalizer, but an equalizing uplifter. And it embraces everybody. How do you do that, and why?
You know, we all have gifts. We all have, you know, things in us, great things in us, that when we learn how to project those things, you know, it can do something powerful. I believe everyone has that, but there's a lot of things clogging that up sometimes, you know. And when I'm around kids, when I was in schools, you know, I got to tell you, like, I would have lots of fears like everybody else. I would be going through terrible. When I walked into that school and I would see those kids, something just changed in me. It's like, you know, you're doing the right thing. You know, you're going the right direction. And so, you know, when the pandemic hit and a lot of things changed in everybody's life, you know, in my life, in 1 week, I realized that, you know, I'm not going to be able to do that anymore. You know, the thing about it that I've learned is that if you're truly meant to do something, nothing's going to stop you, you know? And that was probably one of the most, you know, growing pieces to this whole thing for me in the last year, is that, you know, there's a lot of things that are going to happen, a lot of negative things that are going to come our way, but what you're meant to do, if that's, you know, when it's tested, you know, you're meant to do it, because nothing will stop you from even if everything's turned upside down, you know. And I don't know that I could have told you that a year ago or 5 years ago when we met.
When someone is lucky enough to have their life and their work blend, which is a joyful thing,
Yeah.
It can become all encompassing. Especially if something happens to rock that boat. And with you, 2020 definitely did that. You talk about how nothing can stop you when you're tested. But 2020 kicked pretty hard.
Yeah.
Do you want to take us through the early part of 2020 and tell us what you went through in a matter of 2 weeks?
Yeah. So March 9th, my wife and I found out that we lost our 15-week-old baby Andrew, and you know, right then losing my son, and then 3-4 days later realizing that you know, when I found out schools were canceled, I lost 100 school contracts in an instant. And so amidst the pandemic, you know, I was lost. I'll never forget that Friday night, March 13th, when I found out that I lost all those school contracts. I didn't have a job. We lost our son and the pandemic all in the same week. And I just remember not being able to sleep that night, going, what am I going to do? Like, I can't grieve. I don't know how to help, you know, my wife, who, you know, I don't have words to describe, you know, what she was going through as a woman, as a mother, losing that kind of loss. And, you know, right then, that Friday night when I stayed up tossing and turning, not knowing what to do, I felt this feeling come over me, because there was only one thing I could do. I had a message from a teacher earlier that evening, and she said, Sami, the kids are scared right now. They don't know what's going on. I mean, and even adults didn't know what was going on right away when we first found out about everything. And she said, they really need to hear from you right now.
And virtual school was not set up then.
No, well, nothing was set up.
Nothing.
It was that initial first weekend. Everyone was in shock. And I say it now, like other people who still had their jobs, because a lot of people lost their jobs. I guess I had the courtesy of knowing instantly that I had lost every job that I had. And so I sat there thinking, like, and all of a sudden, through all that pain, through that evening of just not knowing what was going to happen or what to do, I had this feeling come over me. I can't explain it except for it was just resolute. And I knew that I had to find a way to reach the kids in this time. I put a post out the next day saying that because I went on YouTube to try to go live so I could reach the kids. And it said, you have to have 1,000 subscribers to do it. So I put a post out saying, please help me. I want to talk to the kids, but I can't do it unless I have 1,000 subscribers. And the post went viral. And by the end of the morning, I posted it at 6 a.m. By 12 noon, I had 6,000 subscribers on YouTube. And then I was in a position, I made the announcement, Sami Circuit's going live. I want to speak to all the kids in this time. And our first day, we had around 12,000 families tune in.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
I am so proud of you. And I have to say, I am also incredibly sorry about your loss and your losses. And I'm incredibly proud of your gains.
Thanks, Rob. And I want to say that, from that point that we started, it's like I said, I didn't know how, it was going to work. When I made the announcement, I had somebody come in, his name is Jordan Laura, who's helped me for years. And Jordan and Laura helped me get everything set up. But Jordan, nobody would help me do this. Nobody would, it was not a convenient time,
You're talking about the production of your virtual.
Yes.
Events. Okay.
Yeah. When he came in, and during all that, we started filming 55 episodes. Well, my wife was, she was alone, and, she's grieving, I'm grieving. And it's, that time, without trying to find words to talk about it, it's like, I didn't know how to help her and then help the family. And then also all I knew is that I couldn't lose. I had to do something, And so when I'm on YouTube, I'm jumping around, I'm positive, I'm smiling, my wife's going through the darkest time, the hardest time of her life. And just the way that's tested our whole family, and, what she had to go through in that time, that, I'm in a position where it's like my passion, my purpose, and then my family, and trying to figure out how to, make all that work and be the dad, be the person at home, help my wife, and then also be this figure for all these kids, which is a dynamic that I wasn't prepared for. I wouldn't have known how to deal with it. And that was a huge part of just the whole thing.
We are in a time where people are dramatically divided.
Yeah.
We're in a time where families are divided, isolated, where people are alone and in desperate need of inspiration and hope, which ironically was your last episode. It was all about hope.
Yeah.
What would you like to say to someone who's watching, to the kids that are watching, and to the kid that we have in all of us, including you, that needs inspiring?
Well, I'd say that, hope is one of the most important things, because hope is what opens up opportunity to dream. It's what opens up a place inside of all of us where we can dream and have these positive ideas of things that are bigger than or greater than we could have ever imagined. That's what hope starts. And I never want anybody to lose hope. I don't want kids to lose hope, families to lose hope. No matter what negative things are happening around us, don't let any of that change who you are. And I don't know you, I don't know every kid out there, but I do know you're meant to succeed. You're meant to dream big, and we don't just stop there, but hope is where it begins. And I also don't want any kids to live in fear. Fear destroys hope. And so when I think that's one of the biggest things is I did an episode on fear, and I got more response from parents in that episode because they said, thank you so much, because my kids are so afraid. They see what's going on in the world around them, and that's creating this fear inside of them. And so that's my thing, is I don't want them to be afraid.
With the situation with COVID, with the coronavirus, with people sheltering in place and being isolated, there is a lot of fear. And there's also a lot of fear out in the world right now.
Yeah.
I want to take that down to just a very, micro level, into the classroom. And you see children who bully each other and are arguing with each other as children. And I'm just wondering, what would you say to them, and then thus the greater population at large, the adults, in a time where it seems people are fighting each other?
Yeah.
How would you bring the love back in?
Well,
for adults to stop bullying each other, frankly, too.
Oh man. Yeah. I would say that when we start letting our anger drive us, when we start letting that kind of dictate the direction our life is going, it's not hurting the people that we're targeting or the people we're directing that to nearly as bad as it's hurting ourselves. Mm-hmm. And, that's the one thing, is when you see people angry and you see all the division, it's in that moment, that it's serving them in a way that's bringing them to a place that maybe it feels good in the moment, but it's a really low, sad place, and we've all felt that before, through this time, any tough time we go through in our life, it opens up other doors if our eyes are open and if we're willing to see, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of opportunity for us to grow outside of, and ourselves. And, I'll just say it right now, that change is one of the biggest things going on right now. There is so much change going on, and change is scary. Change makes us fearful, and change causes us to have these feelings. And sometimes we misdirect those feelings and we put them on other people. The same way that kids do. Bullying doesn't stop in school. That it doesn't stop in school. It just changes forms. And, we can see that with our families. It's easiest to give our anger to the ones that we love the most, and so if you ever want to gauge how you're feeling, what's really going on, you can just kind of look around to see how you're treating the people that you love the most in your life.
That's beautiful, Sami. I really love that.
Kids are looking to us to be an example of that, to be a vision for the future, a vision for what they can be, what they can accomplish, what their abilities are. And so just anytime we want to walk a better path, anytime we want to go a direction that we truly feel like we should be going, if you need any motivation, any inspiration, you don't have to look very far. You may have to look down, but you don't have to look very far, because our youth, they need us. Mm-hmm. They need us to keep a smile on our face. They need us to be who we are and be who we're meant to be and walk a great path, so that they have an example.
That's beautiful. Because in this time, I think that it is important to remember that children are watching, and they are absorbing, and they are learning. And how do you want to be known for impacting that child's life? As the hero who inspires, which is what you're doing, or as someone who does not? And I applaud you for that, Sami.
Thank you. Well, I don't know how I want to be known for, but I do know that if one kid says, "Hey, that's the guy who told me to never give up," I'm good. I'm good with that. I'll take it.
I think about the families that get to hear your message too, and the ripple effects of goodness flow far and wide. And there will be countless people that you will never know how much you inspired them. But I want you to know you inspired me.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you, Sami. Sami Kader with Sami's Circuit. And Sami is the real life Superman. I can tell you that right now. Sami, take us out with one of your famous sayings.
No matter where you are, never forget, you got this.
That's it. Thank you, Sami. Sami's Circuit right here on Rob at Home. We'll see you later.
See ya.
Murphy Austin Adams Schoenfeld LLP, focusing on business law and commercial litigation, is proud to support Rob on the Road, Region Rising. More information available at murphyaustin.com.